Splash FM 105.5.
Wherever you are listening, this is Splash 105.5 FM, your integrity station. Life is a blessing and a gift. A grateful heart, they say, is always seeing the cup half full and not half empty. For us at West Midlands Communications Limited, we're happy for life and grace. It's a time of the year for us to celebrate another milestone in our journey to excellence and greatness. As we all know, we strode the broadcast firmament with pride. The landmarks are there for all to see. So, welcome to this special broadcast of a program that we use to celebrate the birthday of our founding chairman, Chief Adebayo Akande, MFR, the Abese Olubadan of Ibadanland. It's also the time for us to celebrate the 13th anniversary of Splash FM. We started this anniversary lecture sometime in 2007 with the one done by Honorable Justice Emmanuel Olayinka Yola. And this is a lecture that has had quite a lot of eminent Nigerians. Professor Adebayo Lucas, Dr. Yomi Farumbi, we've had Professor Akimabu Guje, we've had Ledum Mite, we've had Professor Akinjido Oshotoku, Dr. Tony Mariho, and many others on this platform speaking about our nation, Nigeria. Now, today, we're celebrating the 13th anniversary. Let me state from here that this anniversary is a special one, particularly for the lecture. And if you ask me why, I'll tell you clearly. The world is talking about inclusion, it's talking about gender sensitivity. This is the first time Splash FM is having a lady, a woman of note as our anniversary lecture guest speaker. And so it's a landmark for us. Second thing is that this is the first time we're doing it in a studio environment and not an auditorium. And so we're going to have to experiment with for health here with us in Oyo State in the studio, who will also be part of the panelists this morning. So we hold this one. Dr. Bashir Bello, who's the Commissioner for Health in Oyo State, is already seated. I'll be welcoming them in just a moment. So, but if you are listening on radio, we thank you for listening. But there are other platforms where you can listen to this program as it's going on live. We're on Facebook, Splash FM Facebook fan page. We're there. We're on YouTube, Splash FM channel. We're also on Instagram. You can also watch us on a platform from our media partners, Yesma Radio. You can watch this program on Yesma Radio, Yes Media Academy Radio, on Facebook and on YouTube. You can also search for Yemission Entertainment Limited and you will be seeing this live. We have a huge online presence and this program is already there for you to watch as I speak. So let me quickly welcome my guests quickly now and then we'll hit the ground running. I'd like to first welcome the main speaker, Professor Olanike Adeyemo. Prof, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you. A word of congratulations to our chairman. We thank all of you for being here. I would like to thank the Provost, College of Medicine, University of Ibadan, Professor Emiola Oluwabumi Olakpade Olaopa. Prof, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for inviting me, and we say congratulations to the founder of Splash FM.
Thank you very much, sir. And I want to welcome the Honorable Commissioner for Health in Oyo State, Dr. Bashir Bello. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having us on this program.
We're glad you could be here.
Thank you.
Great. So, without wasting any much time, I'd like you to listen to the citation of the keynote speaker. The topic is COVID-19, lessons on responsibility, partnerships, and navigating the new normal. We'll get the new here about it. What is the new normal? How are we going to navigate the new normal? But let's know, who is Professor Olanike Emo? My colleague is already set to tell us. Professor Olanike Adeyemo.
FAAS, FTWAS. Professor Olanike Adeyemo is the pioneer Deputy Vice Chancellor, Research, Innovation and Strategic Partnerships at the University of Ibadan. Since assuming office in 2017, she has made concerted efforts to reposition as well as build human capacity at the University of Ibadan. She is reputed for excellent leadership skills, creative thinking, high level of integrity, and ability to identify and nurture great talents. As a researcher, she pioneered scholarship and leadership in One Health, an innovative transdisciplinary research that cuts across traditional boundaries and paradigms to create novel conceptual, methodological, and translational innovation at the environment, livestock, wildlife human interface. Her findings from studies on environmental pollution, food safety, antimicrobial resistance, and emerging and re-emerging infectious diseases provides credible transdisciplinary research-backed evidence on the complex linkage between environmental, animal, and human health, with significant policy implementation for Nigeria, the African continent, and indeed the rest of the world. She has attracted grants, awards towards research and professional development. She makes contributions to national, regional, and international development by offering services. For example, Professor Adeyemo was appointed an epidemiological and toxicological expert on the joint FAO-WHO Expert Committee on Food Additives, Contaminants, Natural Toxins, and Residues of Veterinary Drugs, 2011 to 2015, 2016 to 2021. She was invited to join the Expert Committee on Science Advice in Africa, a project commissioned by the International Network for Government Science Advice, INGSA, and executed by Nigerian Academy of Science, 2019. She was also invited to join the expert group of the high-level panel on building a sustainable ocean economy, 2019. Professor Olanike Adeyemo does philanthropy through membership of Zonta International Club, board membership, and active participation in the activities of the FAME Initiative, which organizes value-driven, class-based leadership and civic engagement program for undeserved teenagers in secondary schools. Professor Olanike Adeyemo is renowned internationally. She is an elected fellow of Academies of Sciences, including Nigerian Academy of Science, African Academy of Sciences, the World Academy of Sciences. She was featured in Women in Science, Inspiring Stories from Africa, Black Achievers in Science and Technology, and recently recognized as Scientist of the Year 2020 in the Natural Sciences category of the Open International Competition by the International Achievements Research Center, Chicago, Illinois, USA.
Splash FM 105.5.
You know, when I said to you that we had a woman, a lady in the building, you understand what I meant by that. She's not just a lady, she's a woman of repute. And when I asked her for a citation, she said long or short. And I said short, ma. I really do not want the long one, so that I don't take all the time. Now, she told me some time ago that everybody needs to take responsibility for themselves and assess the risk of this time. And so I'm sure that we're going to hear more about that, because we're looking at responsibility, partnerships, and navigating the new normal. Let's make welcome Professor Olanike Adeyemo. Please welcome to the program, ma'am.
Thank you so very much. You were about to make a cardinal mistake by calling me Adenike.
It's Olanike.
Olanike is the limited edition of the Nike, and so nobody calls me Adenike. So I'm Olanike Adeyemo, and I'm glad to be here. I'm very, very happy to be the first female, although I think you have to do a catch-up because I'm also somebody that is strongly pro women and women showcasing women. We have enough women to do these things. So I don't think 13 years being the first women is something you have to do a catch up. Having said that, I want to congratulate Chief Adebayo Akande on his 81st birthday. I want to pray that God will lengthen his days in sound health. There is many more of these days. Also, I want to congratulate Splash FM for and I thank. But so I'll be giving you my outline. I'll introduce my topic to you. I love quotes. I do a lot of quotes, and you'll be seeing that as I go on. And we talk about COVID-19 lessons on responsibility. I'll give you more quotes. And then we'll talk about COVID-19 lessons on partnerships. I'll give you more quotes. And then we'll talk about COVID-19 navigating the new normal. And then we'll break it down to talk about what is the new normal for the government should look like. What should the new normal look like for partnerships, and what should the new normal look like for us as individuals, the populace. And then I'll talk about something I stole off the internet, lessons about COVID-19, and I'll be offering you my final thoughts. COVID-19 is real, an equal opportunity virus. If you know, that equal opportunity is something that I stole from America. They call everything equal opportunity. So what that means is that it's not a respecter of face. It doesn't look at your face. It doesn't look how beautiful you are, how rich you are, where you are from. So that's what I mean by equal opportunity. Everyone is affected equally. And one of the major lessons, and I'll start, is that it has magnified for us, for me personally, the weakness and the rot in the system or the non-system that we have in Nigeria. And the final thing that I think I'll use as introduction is to say that life will never be the same again. COVID-19 is a game changer. And according to Joseph Borrell, he said COVID-19 will reshape our world. We don't yet know when the crisis will end, but we can be sure that by the time it does, our world will look very different. And it does look different. I look at myself in the mirror and I don't recognize the ninja I see. When I talk about magnifying the rot in our system, I talk about the healthcare and the weakness that we have. I talk about law enforcement. I talk about even our level of education and or lack of it, and the economy. On responsibility, let me go quickly to my quotes. Empowerment is never about blame. It's about taking personal responsibility. The other one says people's participation is the essence of good governance. Then I have one that says blaming is so much easier than taking responsibility, because if you take responsibility, then you might be to blame. Accept responsibility for your actions, be accountable for your results, and take ownership of your mistakes. The last one, before I go on, says history tells us that an informed, activated population is vital to protecting the public's health. Lessons on responsibility. For me, it brought to fore gaps occasioned by decades of negligence of our social infrastructure development, including our healthcare system. We were scrambling. Education, our schools and university, whereas in developed clients, they migrated easily into online platform. It's been a tough time for us as a people, as a country. And even our social services. I know in the US, they paid directly into people's accounts some monies for them to tie them over this period. But that's almost impossible. Do we have a structured system? Do you have, how do you get to me? Of course, when NCDC wants to send text message, they know how to get me. But apparently, they don't know how to get my account number to send me money. So those are the kind of things we're talking about. And then we talk about industry that we're ill prepared. Nigeria is, we play to the gallery. And that's why I said I'll be shaking a few tables. Most of our industry, we are quick to donate to government. They made a large donation, but they were not ready. They didn't anticipate and fulfill the responsibility to their employees and clients. As I was still coming back today, the bank is still a very, 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 very strong transmission avenue for COVID-19 in Nigeria. As I was coming back, I still saw some banks that is not being responsible, that's not being responsive. And so also other industries as well, they were quick to donate to the government, but where it concerns them, they weren't prepared, and they are still not prepared, and they are not catching up as well. And that is a problem for us. Their workers, I understand some employers of labor stop paying their workers. because those are things that we need to talk about. We need to have a conversation about. The wide indiscipline of the populace, non-compliance with rules and regulation. You go out now. The government has said wear face mask. It's only in Nigeria that we need them to send police after us to do what we know is right to do, and that will continue to propagate the spread of COVID-19. Going on pandemic, on the lessons on responsibility that I have learned during this process, enforcement or lack of it revealed the entrenchment of corruption in our society. And why it's always easy for us to go on and blame the law enforcement agents. What about the populace? What about the individuals that give money to them? There cannot be corruption. Like they say, it takes two to tango. If I'm not willing to pay, why they said there was a lockdown, why can't you stay in your house? And so if there's nobody to give money, then the law enforcement agents will do what they're supposed to do. So it's both leadership and followership. We do not have social security structure in place, and hurried attempts by respective governments were trying to do what they felt was right to do by giving palliatives. But of course, we know that we have systemic corruption. So they take it to a local government, and then the person there decides that he wants half of it for himself, and then doesn't get to people that really need it. So those are things that has nothing to do with the government. It has everything to do with us as individuals. For certain, one of the things that struck me the most is that we're largely government-centric people. We like to finger point, we like to play blame games, and we like to pass buck. It seems to be in our DNA as Nigerians. And we forget that as people, you are a leader. Stop looking at the governor, stop looking at commissioners, we're in your sphere of influence. How well are you leading? How well are you showing a good example? I think most of the major problem we have in Nigeria is not only leadership, the followership are not any better. So it's just something that we have to look at ourselves in a new way, and then we all need to do what we need to do. Like I said, I will be giving you quotes, lessons on partnerships. The first one says we're in this together and we'll get through this together, and that's if we're willing to do what we need to do. The second one says what the world needs now is solidarity. With solidarity, we can defeat the virus and build a better world. And then this one I got from University of Chicago Medical School. And what struck me here is that it says, thank you from the bottom of my heart for serving on the front line for this pandemic. And it starts with nurses, physicians, cafeteria workers, respiratory therapists, housekeepers are the heart and soul of the war against COVID-19. And what that lesson tells me is that it's about partnership. It's about healthcare. Nigerians, we are too focused. And I think I'll get to that. I shouldn't jump the gun. So it's about all those people, janitors that are at the front line, those people that are neglected, they are at the center of this. So when I talk about lessons on partnerships, I want to say partnerships is about individual partnership. It's about wearing a mask is not, like they've said from research, it's not about protecting yourself, it's about protecting others. So when I wear my mask, I'm protecting you. And when you wear yours, you are protecting me. And that is where we talk about individual partnerships. And we have to realize that. We went to see Baba and they said we should take off our masks because we wanted to take pictures. And I said, no, we are protecting him because he's vulnerable. It's about protecting others. It's about thinking about others first. And so when you are not wearing a mask, you are being selfish, you are being irresponsible. Then professional collaboration as well. We have to understand that as Nigerians, we have to understand that we need to collaborate more than ever before. You cannot say, like Yoruba will say, that is our system. That is our system, and that has to change. Communal partnership. You go to, where do you have the portals of non-compliance the most? People will go to the market. So you go to our market, you see that compliance is almost zero. But it's the same market when Baba Oja died, they closed the market and there was full compliance. So that means within that society, they have the capability to ensure compliance for this as well. You go to motor parks, they know how they take money from the people that are in the car garage, and they know how to do this. So they also have the capacity. We have in-house before Yoruba say so it can't all be respiratory therapists. Cafeteria workers still have to do their work, and we need to give them their due respect and recognize them appropriately appropriately and honor them appropriately, for them to feel like human beings and to make them feel as part of the team and that they are contributing something. And I think that is one thing that is very important to us. I say the idea of volunteering and selflessness for common good is almost extinct in Nigeria. I said almost because some people are doing it. One of the things that our committee, the Contamination and Contamination Work Group, I want to use the opportunity to thank His Excellency Engineer Oluseyi Makinde for being somebody that is willing to partner so easily. And that is why we have this collaboration. The Decontamination and Containment team is a committee that has people from the government, it has us from the academy, and it has people from the industry as well. That is what we talk about partnership. So it's not about, oh, we are superior people because we carry the term professor, or we are superior people because we are government officials. We are working together, and we've actually had a lot of impact because we see things from this different lens view and perception. And I'm very happy and thankful for the University of Ibadan. Like I always tell people, we are not contractor anywhere I go. We are just contributing our quota to ensure that COVID-19 goes away. 200 students signed up. And one of the things that I made serve, and I was very proud. I'm still very proud. I'm like a proud mom to our students. 200 students doing it, and we are so thankful to them. So I know a lot of NGOs are also stepping up and doing this as well, and this is very important. The last lesson on partnership, and this might not really be partnership, might also be crisscross responsibility, as said, and I put it in red. We are sunken to the lowest level of humanity. That was heartbreaking for me. When we extort, inflate prices, and cost of service to profit from COVID-19. And I think, and the mystery it portends, instead of protect and save human life. And my brother, one of my brother who's a medical said it, he said, when I complained to him, he said, Nigeria is now survivor of the meanest or most athletes, and that is unfortunate for us. When this thing started, they first took off all sanitizers, and then they started selling it at ridiculous prices. That for me was like, this is a matter of life and death. And when we do that, then we have sunk into the lowest level, and it's sad for me as a Nigerian. One of my very closest friends went in for surgery recently, and the kind of things they made her pay for were things that I know she ought not to have paid for. 65,000 naira. So I tell you, there are so many people that are dying in Nigeria, not because of COVID-19, but because of some of the things they have to go through. Save months and months and months and months and years to be able to do the surgery. So for you to come and then they are charging you something ridiculous just to extort money, it's ridiculous, it's disgraceful. I don't even know the name. I've run out of the English to qualify it, and that is the level we are sucking into in Nigeria. So we need to look ourselves in the face and decide, what am I doing at this time? And personally, I want to tell you, because I've had opportunity to work with government, because of the kind of things they have to deal with. I'm aware of some of the things they have to deal with to trawl through this category of human being to be able to do what they need to do. So it's shameful, and we need to, if, like I said, we are shaking tables. If it affects you, you need to take a second look at yourself and do the needful. So navigating the new normal, I'll start with my quote. As I said, COVID-19 is about connecting, it's about solving, it's about saving. And we need to know that. Politics is largely the process of taking credit and putting the blame on others, regardless of what the facts may be. And then this one says, I brought this specially for you. It says, journalists and doctors in Asia collaborate to fight medical and misinformation. Because people need information, and everyone is important. I can have information, but I need you to get the information out. And so we have to realize the cross-cutting roles that we all play at COVID-19. And we should all strive to be better people than this, and give honor and respect. Like I said, I might have the information, but I cannot pass the information across the best way. I can't even speak like you speak, Mr. Akinola. I speak and they don't understand what I'm saying, but you know how to say it in a way that people will understand. So ask yourself, everybody, in what ways am I learning about myself and life as very critical and important. So navigating the new normal, I focus on the government. I say, hopefully, this should prepare the government towards building infrastructure. Emerging infection And so this village, this is our new normal. You cannot keep disease in China. It will find its way to Nigeria as COVID. Sanctions and incentives to protect lives, livelihood, facilitate. Think of anticipate the need of an aspect. It should be something that is strategic. And like I said, there cannot be sacred cows. Clairvoyance, because he does something in your state and then 2 weeks after you hear the federal government is doing the same thing or other states are doing the same thing, because he has surrounded himself with technocrats, and most of the time they do risk assessment before they make any decision. Mass transit, isolation, and all those things should be risk-based guided. And then the public need reliable and actionable information to help them understand risk of exposure. So we need to communicate widely. So many things I sent to the governor's PA yesterday, that they have so many things in place because people are afraid that their kids are going back to school. So all those things that they have in place, they need to make a lot of noise about it so that people will to quench fear mongering, for people to know these are the things that are in place, because people don't know. I said, oh, you've been very quiet about this. You need to make a lot of noise about this. So all avenue, mass media, town criers, I know they still have it in some villages if you need to go back to the days. And then trade unions associations is easy way to circumvent, like I said, fake news and fear mongering. And I think we need new laws as well. If you willfully expose somebody or you willfully do something that will put somebody at risk, you should be charged for manslaughter, which we need to be. National Assembly, every assembly should be doing new laws around COVID-19, because like Yoruba will say, so when they make these laws, then when you are caught, then you face the maximum sentence, and then you see people will do what they need to do. And about the partnership now, all stakeholders in every sector, I talked about market association, mass transit operators, religious organizations, private businesses must sincerely deploy their influence. We all have influence in a sphere of influence. If you come to UI now, you cannot enter the University of Ibadan gate without having a face mask. And so when you come to University of Ibadan, almost everybody, you cannot see the same level of compliance you see outside, like you see at the University of Ibadan, because you can't even enter the UI gate, and we close all the other gates. You only coming through one gate. So it's very important for us to know, to support the government. It doesn't necessarily have to be monetary, but your sphere of influence, you can wield. They need to step up. Where you have congregation, people need to do what they need to do. Local and international partnership will require for measures. We need to foster partnership that will strengthen our funding, material, and training to strengthen our country's long-alleged social infrastructures. And then I will be remiss if I don't talk about the interconnectedness of human, animal, and environmental health. It is imperative. Most of the emerging and infectious, re-emerging infectious, 75% of them are just handle them and say, oh, they, treat the. You have to handle it at the source, and it requires that we cooperate to do this. And when you talk about research, when you talk about response, when you talk about control, prevention, we need to take one else seriously, and to also prevent the next pandemic. God, like Yoruba people will say. When we talk about the populace, we need to reflect on fundamental notions of responsibility. What do you mean by what is responsibility? What does it mean to you? Individual accountability is the essence of good corporate citizenship. So are you accountable as an individual? Then we need to understand that encroachment into natural ecosystem and anthropogenic activities, that's man-made activity, are the things that are creating conditions for the kind of things we see. 20, 30 years ago, there was nothing like this. So we have to understand that it's something we're doing as human beings, because we are the one with the greatest influence on our planet. Every outing should be preceded by risk analysis with understanding that actions and or inactions has consequences. So I chose to come here today to expose myself to the risk that I'm here. So I'm ready to know that when I go out of my house, it's a risk I'm taking. And we do take those kind of risk assessment every day. You want to cross a road, you need to look right, left, right, and left again. So it's the same thing we are talking about now. Let nobody put anybody under pressure by saying, oh, you must come to church, or you must do this, or you must do that. It's individual risk assessment, because at the end of the day, day, if it happens, it's you and your immediate family that will be impacted the most. Abiding by safety guidelines will help to curb further spread of COVID-19, and we should avoid stigmatizing infected people, because that's what will make people not to come out if they are infected, because so you say risk assessment. Like getting into restaurants as very low risk. You have something like going to school as moderate risk, and you have something like going to church as very high risk. Internet to be able to know where we should be and what we should do. And thinking ethnicity, and which other one is there, and political leaning is horrible. To go back to the way we are educated. That we need to think about when we get to the new normal. You see very educated people and you see the way they argue, and it's religion is impacted, they cannot see reason. Once it's stupid. So we need to be able to know when things are right, when things are wrong, and be able to think and analyze risk critically during this process. The most dangerous thing about COVID-19 is the unpredictability, and as long as there's no vaccine or cure, your survival depends on you being responsible and responsive to preventive measure. I tell a story about a doctor, both of them doctors in Lagos, and the two parents were okay, but they brought COVID-19 to their 21-year-old son, who unfortunately passed. So you cannot say, oh, it's because, of course, we say Baba is vulnerable, but a 21-year-old passed. So that is the problem with COVID-19. You cannot predict how it will behave when you get affected. So this is the lessons. It was 12 lessons, but I took 6 out. I got it off the internet. Lessons about COVID-19. It's reminding us of the shortness of life and of what is most important for us to do, which is to help each other, especially those who are old and sick. It is reminding us that after every difficulty, there is always ease. Life is a phase. In this great cycle, we do not need to panic. These too shall pass. It is reminding us that we are all equal, regardless of our culture, our religion, our occupation, financial situation, or how famous we are. It is also reminding us that we are all connected, and something that affects one person has an effect on another. And it is reminding us of how materialistic our society has become. And we are still materialistic if we are selling things and extorting money over COVID-19. But when push comes to shove, we only need the essential things: food, water, and medicine. Those are the essential things, not mansions and all those things that we are striving to run after. And finally, it is reminding us that we can choose to cooperate, to share, and to support each other, or we can choose to be selfish, to hoard, to look after only ourselves. Indeed, it is difficulties that bring out our true colors, and we are seeing the true colors of Nigerians at this time. My final thought on this are that COVID-19 cannot be used to play politics. It is real, and your citizens, which breeds critical thinking. We shouldn't just do this, teach and then vomit. People need to be able to think and work out the solution for themselves. And I think that will help our critical thinking skill. Collaboration is a must. Problems are multidimensional, so is solution. No stakeholder is more important than the other. So when you talk about frontline workers, you are talking about doctors, you are talking about nurses, you are talking about laboratory scientists, you are talking about journalists, you are talking about janitors. And they need the most technical and emotional support at this time. But they also should take their professional oaths very seriously. I think it's important for us to emphasize that. Human life is sacred. Saving life should be our focus in containing COVID-19 and other emerging global health threats. I thank you very much for listening, and I thank you for having me here.
I want everyone here to clap their hands, please. Let's try that. Thank you very much, Prof. Thank you so much. That was a bit overwhelming. I won't be the one making comments about the lecture, so we'll quickly go into our panelists very quickly. I wish I could summarize, but that will be giving the lecture again. But I love a number of things she said that I would like to point out. She said something about shaking the tables, and indeed she shook tables. She shook the table from the government side, from the people, and she pointed out the things that we have done that we need to rethink about. This is very poignant. Survival of the meanest or the most heartless. She talked about the fact that Nigerians lack critical thinking skills. We rather think about our ethnicity, about our religion, our political leanings, than reason properly. She made a statement that your survival depends on you, that the world needs solidarity. She said we have put a number of things ahead of what we should be doing, that industries are quick to donate to government rather than take care of their employees, and so on and so on. And she said we are sunken to the lowest level of humanity. We extort, we inflate prices and cost of services without thinking. And she also spoke about our own industry too, that is the education system in Nigeria needs overhauling. And she said we need a learner-led system that will make people to think critically. She hammered a lot on collaboration and partnership and how we have to live after now. Once again, we want to thank you for obliging us and giving us this lecture. We will certainly do the catch-up, and I will not make the mistake of calling you Ade. It's Ola. Olanike. Professor Emiola Oluwadan is the Provost, College of Medicine, University of Ibadan. He'll be making his first statements about this after the break. We want to take a break, so when we finish with this break, when I come back, I'd like you to make your statements about the lecture, and then we engage it. If you're listening to us on radio, you can send us messages via our Splash FM handles on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube. You can send your questions. I've seen a number of questions already. You also can send your questions to us this morning. We are also going to take some calls when the time is ripe. Thank you for being there. We'll take a break and we're back in a moment. It's still the 81st birthday celebration of our chairman and the 13th anniversary of Splash FM and our lecture. Stay with us, don't go away.
Splash FM 105.5.
From Molfix just for your baby. Molfix pants with anatomic fit technology. New Molfix pants, an invention from babies for babies. Easy to wear, easy to remove.
Getting to this destination took a lot of work. You weren't even sure of where you were going, but you didn't settle. You went for it. Destinations after destinations, on and on. Changing your pace as you walked along, never stopping, never going back. You've owned this journey, and together, we believe we can do even greater things. At Meristem, we are a stellar team of wealth managers, financial advisors, and stockbrokers here to maximize the true potential of your wealth. You've come this far. Let's take you farther. Invest with Meristem. Visit meristemng.com or call our wealth line on 0700 Meristem.
Aha, darling.
Yes, babe.
Please don't forget to buy Pauline's Peak 456 growing up milk.
Habla, you this woman. Peak 456 growing up milk again?
Yes, so I have come again. Do you know Peak 456 growing up milk is for children between 4 to 6 years old? It has DHA that supports their growing brain. I put it in pap, cereal, tea every day.
Hey, no wonder she's smart like me.
You mean like me, her mother?
90% of brain development happens in the first 5 years of life. Peak 456 Growing Up Milk with DHA is specially formulated for children 4 to 6 years of age to support brain development, which helps in preparing them for the future. Follow us on Facebook at Grow Up Smart and at Peak456_milk on Instagram.
I got you, babe. My Pauline must continue to do well in school.
Grow up strong and smart with Peak 456 Growing Up Milk.
You were born to move, to turn and suckle, to try with all your might until at last you lift your head, to kick and splash your arms and legs at bath time, to squirm and wiggle across the floor. You were born to crawl, to walk, to run, to play. Baby, you were born to move. Now, go with Huggies Pants. With a soft, breathable, all-round waistband and quick dry layer for all night dryness, Huggies Pants are recommended by 9 out of 10 moms for comfort.
Who says it's hard to find a lifetime partner? Our Keystone Future Account for Children is the perfect gift for your little bundle. There is the Evolve account for young adults in need of a bank that speaks their language.
Young man, you're welcome to the team.
The Paytime account tailored to support the financial and lifestyle needs of salary earners. The GrowBees account, enabling SMEs and corporate organizations take their businesses to the next level. At Keystone, we are not just a bank, we are a lifetime financial partner, helping you accomplish your goals every step of the way. Choose the right partner. Sign up for a Keystone account today. Keystone Bank. We grow together.
Babe, Grain Smart. Is it a flavor?
No, it's a special mix of vitamins and iron in Golden Morn.
But I thought Golden Morn was made from maize and soya.
Yes, Niger maize and soya protein fortified with Grain Smart, which means the right energy to think and do great things.
Oh! Treat your family to the great taste and energy of Golden Morn. Eat off and carry go, because nothing do you. Golden Morn, make every day amazing.
Splash FM 105.5.
Many thanks to you for being there wherever you are listening to us. It's Splash 105.5 FM. It's our anniversary, 13th in the figures. So, as I said, we'll be taking questions. Keep the questions coming. I've seen a number of questions here. Yusuf Boyega Lafiz. I've seen one also from Reverend Koye Ladele, and many more are already right here in front of me. So I'll be taking them. She said something when she was speaking, and this is also very instructive. When you don't wear the mask, you are being selfish and irresponsible. And I'm going to frame this and put it on the wall for people to see all the time. Now, I'm coming to Professor Emiola Oluwabumi Olapade Olaopa. She said COVID-19 magnified the rot in our systems, and she listed some of them: health, education, social services, the industries. Do you agree with that when you make your comments this morning?
Thank you very much. Let me again congratulate Chief Adebayo Akande on his 81st birthday and Splash FM on their 13th. As regards the keynote speaker's comments, first of all, let me congratulate her by being the first woman in 13. I think Splash chose well, not only in terms of the speaker, but in terms of her portfolio, because her portfolio speaks to the heart of what our ability to handle COVID-19 worldwide is about. It's about research, it's about innovation, and certainly it's about strategic partnerships. And when you ask what my comments would be, you could see from the passion with which she delivered the lecture that we're really in dire straits as to what to do with COVID-19. It's exposing the inner belly of all communities, not just our community. There's hardly any country that seems to have a magic wand as to how to handle the COVID-19. pandemic, and that is why it has been such a problem. And I think it's just insisting that we should not only look at the new normal, but the next normal, because it's caused an upheaval in all sectors. Airline industry is in trouble by now. The the education system is in trouble. I just heard this morning that Kenya is cancelling a whole year of its school's calendar. So there's no doubt that we need to have a rethink. And when we're talking about rethink, we must all come together to do so. There must be some meeting of minds between us who are not just educationists, but we are researchers. We must generate new knowledge. But we must generate new knowledge in a responsive way. We must look at what our society requires and what the characteristics of our society is. We tend to adopt rather than adapt in this country. We're so used to taking things from foreign countries without considering what our own circumstances are. And that's what happens. We're presently having difficulties handling COVID-19 because almost every consumable equipment that we're going to use to manage this pandemic has to be imported. Now, there are two problems with that. First is, do we have the money? Probably not. But more importantly is that now the people who normally would give us these things are in dire need themselves. So why should they give you what they need? The reason South Africa has the highest number of tests done in Africa is because they manufacture the test kits. We don't. So when people say, "Oh, you're not testing enough," yes, first is the cost of the test kits. The second is, can we make them? Are they available? Can we get them? So in reality, all sectors of the economy must come together, and as she rightly put it, each person must come and contribute his own quota, and cede leadership where necessary to the person or persons or discipline that are experts at that particular point in time. I must at this juncture congratulate or acknowledge the Oyo State government because they've actually gone a long way into ensuring that these collaborations and partnerships are in the fore. They've ensured that they've brought the best hands to the table, and from all indications, they're making the best use of the advice they get. I think that is a start. But I think ultimately what we need to do is to go back to the drawing board and see what it is that we need to do to design things that are fit for us. And I mean us as a people, not necessarily what is fit for our pocket. COVID-19 should be seen a little bit more than just a procurement opportunity. The good thing about COVID-19, if there is any good thing about it, is that it is completely non-discriminatory. So I am a survivor, and I can tell you that when I tested positive, I had no idea whether I was going to live or die.
Were you scared?
No, I wasn't scared because I knew there was nothing I could do about it. I was just hopeful, and I'm glad that
and you were not hopeless, like there's no treatment.
What was the point? In the best of countries, if it was going to take you, it would take you. So you just had to just hope. There was no time to be scared. And that's the serious truth. And that is what people must understand, that COVID-19 has almost made everything Nigerians in particular, but the whole world in general, believed as their security, their guarantee. It has rendered it useless. You have a private jet, but sorry, you can't fly. You have money in the bank, but sorry, it's not about money. So and on and on and on. You can see that even the most developed countries are in trouble. So we need to look inwards. And I dare say that I am convinced that if we do look inwards and we take advantage of our own qualities, I'm sure we'll be able to contribute something to this table of how to handle not only the COVID-19 pandemic, but what has been quite clearly described as a new normal. We need to be at that table, and that would involve all sectors and the best of all hands. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Olubadan. I'm coming to the Commissioner for Health in Oyo State very quickly, because we'd like to take calls as well and interact with the people. If you look at the way Oyo State has responded to it, the government, would you say that the government had done well in the face of her lecture today, if you weigh them?
Well, thank you very much for that question. But let me first of all thank our guest speaker, Professor Olanike Adeyemo. She's done a lot to not only touch almost every part, but when our first index case came in February, given the flow between Ibadan to Lagos, and is a major commercial center now of this country, Lagos. So its spread across the country was like, more than the rate it has spread in some other countries like that. But come to think of it, as Professor Olanike has mentioned, sorry, Professor Olanike Adeyemo, come to think of it, the issue is that we were met seriously unprepared as a country. But immediately the reality was on ground. His Excellency, as the two speakers had earlier mentioned, called in and headed the task force on 3 pillars. That is the scientific pillar, the information, that is the communication grant, because we are now talking to a society that the guest speaker has described as not really knowing the consequences of the actions. And that is why the Oyo State EOC had actually come out with the slogan, own your own action. That is, you own your action. That is OYA, like Oya in Yoruba language. But all this does not actually translate. Part of the communication strategies employed the services of our public health specialists. Well, Professor Olakpa is here with us. They were the first branch of people to be contacted. Look, how do we go about this thing? And that was responsible for the decisions of the Oyo State COVID-19 Task Force based on 3 main pillars. We wouldn't look into what has been happening in some of those countries involved, that is European countries, USA, because when one looks at cases in New York, wherein they have the best of system, and they got overwhelmed, now we have to sit down here and look at the scientific facts. What are the consequences? Then the risk management factor. All this thing belongs to the technical side of the COVID-19 task force in Oyo State. Then we look at the data on ground within this state, because it is the data which should be the evidence-based. Now we apply logic. That is the third tripod, the third pillar of the tripod. And when we consider these things, then it will even ask that what other factors, what is best. So it is a joint decision when His Excellency will announce that this is where we are going. And that is probably what my earlier speakers had mentioned, that when we decide on a channel, on a route to go, or a plan of action, it probably takes the federal government about 2 weeks, or some other state government, to follow along the same line, But it is just like what we are preparing for. As of present, we have been able to do some fair degree of containment, given the fact that the virus as it is still evolving, is still developing, no vaccines, no form of treatment. But His Excellency had done one good thing, which people might not easily see outside. Giving this COVID-19 task force a boost when it brought in the former CMD of UCH, that works a little bit out of the bureaucratic network. Because if things are left to the Ministry of Health ordinarily, it wouldn't have gotten that fast action. So
you don't think that's an indictment to your ministry?
I can tell you, because the government procedure and protocols, which cannot be changed, does not move with time. That is an established fact.
Okay.
Without approval, a bureaucrat will not do anything.
Even with human lives.
That is why we call emergencies. In emergencies, you can move. And that is why this one will be given an emergency coverage. But whatever be that emergency, in the bureaucratic life, a file must go that His Excellency will say yes. And that is the only evidence by which you can defend yourself later. You understand? So, but because His Excellency had made it a little bit different because of the response, we call it. That is what the COVID-19 task force is actually about. And all purchases, all creations, and one thing His Excellency did was that instead of making a makeshift or some of those things that will probably have to be cancelled after COVID-19, that is talking about new normal, we are already preparing for it on our own. In other words, what structure we are putting on ground are permanent. So, and that is why a major hospital like the Olodo, that is infectious disease, and it's also used as a research center because our collaborators, the University of Ibadan, the University College Hospital, and some of our scholars will be able to do necessary research because it is providing a technical development hand on it. Another factor about this is that it has been mentioned earlier on that what we are doing is what others seriously come to emulate later. But the task force is not resting your source on that. His Excellency will always tell you that please tell me where I've gone wrong, what I've done wrong, what is left to be done. Just make a genuine, reasonable, and objective criticism, not just political. But you could say, as the guest speaker has mentioned, our line of thinking had always been either political, religious, ethnical, and occasionally gender-based. So that is one thing. Well, I want to, before I round up, thank particularly the University of Ibadan students, the volunteers, who had actually volunteered without talking of money. The same thing goes to our frontline, I will say frontline officials in Oyo State, nurses, doctors, pharmacists, and all those things, including our volunteers. We are indeed very grateful to you. Again, we thank every member of the task force. But as the guest speaker has mentioned, the One Health approach is the key factor. That we all know that we are contributors, not classification that I am a doctor and therefore I'm superior in the process. You are not better than the cleaner because everybody has its own line of specialty. Well, secondary to this, I want to use this opportunity to appeal to most of our traders who had been capitalizing, and that was what the guest speaker has mentioned as a survival of the meanest and the most heartless. We should always note this. People who capitalize on the misfortune of others. When they know you are in need, they now tell you that, that medication is so. There had been a lockdown interstate. They cannot bring from Lagos. This is the only one remaining. If you don't now, so people will go aboring. And that is where most of the deaths are being promoted by people who are not directly related to the medical centers. We have those who capitalize on human misfortunes to make their money. So let me stop with that and say that Nigerians, we should no longer be non-compliant because that is the problem. we are a group of non-compliant people. I don't know. We just love to break laws and, circumvent issues. Well, let our people know that preserving their own health is their personal responsibility, and they should be able to assist the government in doing so. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Commissioner. I wish I had time to engage you on some of those issues, but we'll leave it at that. We will go over to take questions from home. I've seen a number of people sent me questions, so I'll read a few of them for the three of you to be able to engage these questions very quickly. This one says, "Happy birthday, Sir Adebayo Akande," and myself, Yusuf. I guess it's his birthday. He said, "How best do you think National Assembly's bill of giving the health sector financial autonomy from the state governors can ameliorate this unfortunate misdemeanor in our health sector infrastructure development, looking at the level at which unbalanced health infrastructure have claimed lives of many Nigerians, leaders and citizens alike?" That's coming from Yusuf Boyega Abdulafiz from Muslim Ibadan. The other question says, "Is coronavirus really real in Nigeria?" And I guess the lecturer said something about that. He said just this morning in the news, a professor was quoted as saying there is no such pandemic in Nigeria, and whoever believes should prove it. So he said, "Yes, we have heard that many have died and many recovered from COVID-19, but considering the way and manner government at various levels in Nigeria are handling it and the way majority of people are nonchalant about it, is there truly coronavirus in Nigeria?" That's coming from Reverend Koyi Ladele. I'd like you to also think about it. We will make the lectures available after now. I'd like to let you know that the lecturer will be gracious to give us and will produce the copies. You can find them when, and I will make the announcement about how to get the document as we move on. So you can also still listen to us on Yesma Radio. Is partnering with us. Yesma Radio, Yes Media Academy Radio on Facebook and on YouTube. We're there live, and also you can search for Yamishon the Entertainment Limited. Listen live on Yesma Radio app. If you downloaded it on Google Play Store, you can listen to us right there. So we can take your questions. I'll deal with these two questions first, and then we'll take the calls and listen to your comments also on Facebook and other platforms. So who's taking the first shot? Prof, are you taking the first shot? Is COVID-19 real?
I think I'll pass on the first one, which is talking about just juggling. That's my opinion. You move something from somewhere, if you don't address the inherent systemic issues, then you're just moving something from, just like marrying another wife because you think your wife is soup is not nice. You marry another wife, the soup will be nice, but there will be other issues to deal with. So it's about addressing the systemic issues that we have, which most of the time we are not willing to talk about. Why do we have those issues, and what can be done about them? Talking about the moving something from somewhere to somewhere, that's just my own opinion about things like that. We have systemic issues and we need to address them. COVID-19 is real. If he or she doesn't think it's real, she'll go to the nearest isolation center and hug as many positive patients as possible.
You're usually savage at this response.
I'm sorry.
You gave me this response before. I mean, you're asking them to go hug.
No. I mean, the test of the food, the test. Yeah, it's the reality. The thing about it is that there are so many, like we said, there are so many people that will just come. Unfortunately, social media is not helping because people just put out stupid things out there, and the people that do not know better, just imbibe these hook like and things. Actually, if it's from somebody that is supposed to know better, and that's why we have to say taking responsibility is not only taking care of yourself; it's about being aware that whatever you say or whatever you do, you are setting an example for people that look up to you. We are not only, it's not only about the government, we are all leaders within our sphere of influence. Whether you're a social media influencer or whether you are somebody that is respected by some people, once you say something, they take it as the gospel truth. And that's why I say there needs to be some laws. If you willfully put people's life at risk by whatever you say, whatever you pronounce, there should be some consequence. Okay. And that's why I'm talking about the fact that even because COVID-19 is a new situation, we need to reimagine how we want to handle it, including legally. early to make sure people are responsible for whatever things they put out there. You can't say something that is stupid like that. It is real. We've had renowned people die from it. Their family didn't come out and say it wasn't COVID-19 that killed them, because we have the option to say no, it wasn't something that killed them. So if people are dying, then you're asking if it's real. Then what do you want me to say? Go to the nearest
Prof. I want you to speak to the issue of legislation on the health, particularly public health. How can we make sure that public health is accessible to everyone and it's not encumbered by bureaucracy of rule and law, and that people can access health care?
Well, thank you. I think that the issue of accessibility to health and the issue of whether COVID-19 is real or not are two sides of the same coin. It's all about education. The reason why some people do not think COVID-19 is real actually also has to do with some of the information that is being put out there by the relevant agencies. There's absolutely no doubt that there is a lot of conflicting information coming out, even from the World Health Organization. And I have always had an issue with public service announcements. I've had this discussion with the various officers of health. If you put out a narrative that COVID-19 is brought in by the Oga who goes abroad and comes back, instantly those who do not have an Oga that go abroad think it's not their problem. And if you say that it is only high-ranking people who are getting this disease, well, the man says he's not high-ranking now, so what is his problem?
I don't have business with that.
It's not. I mean, it's easy to think that when you say this ex-governor, this senior person died, that people would think it's real. But no, they have more serious problems. As one of our people said to me when we went on an outreach, he said, COVID-19 is just yet another thing that's killing us. The only reason you people are interested is because it's now killing you too. Whereas the other diseases and other problems that are killing us are still there, but simply because they are not affecting you, you don't care. The only reason you care about this is that you are catching it too. So we need to change the narrative. And it comes to that issue about legislation about public health. Public health, as opposed to population health, should not be seen simply as exclusivity as Nigerian law has it now. I'm sure the Commissioner for Health would agree with me that local governments see it as they're almost the exclusive preserve. State governments too see secondary health as the exclusive preserve, and then federal government sometimes thinks tertiary health is its own exclusive preserve. And I know this because the College of Medicine has the Barakwa program, where we have to work with local government, state government, and us as federal government, trying to make sure that we bring what is indeed public health to the people. And the amount of bureaucracy you have to overcome is simply unimaginable. And for as long as it is bureaucracy that we are more interested in than the actual impact, then as Professor Adebayo has said, simply moving it from local government to state government, or from state government to federal government, or vice versa, we have not solved the problem. And the problem is trying to ensure that we design something that is meant to work. I am not sure that a lot of our legislation has been designed to work. They've just been simply legislated for convenience and for expediency. We normally have this attitude of let's just do it. We'll sort out the problems later. Unfortunately, the problems usually come before. So I would say that we should focus on accessibility. We should ensure that our public health legislation addresses both the public health issues and the population health issues so that they can be more effective.
Thank you very much. I'm moving to the commissioner, but this time I'm going to speak Yoruba because I know you can speak Yoruba, so that those who are, the large population of those who are ill-informed are probably people who don't speak English like we do right here on this table, even though we have talked about very educated people who are misinforming the public. But let's go to Yoruba. Mo wòye nǹkan tí ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ń ṣe lórí ọ̀rọ̀ àrùn COVID-19 yìí. Ẹ ti sọ wípé ẹ pèrègede pé ẹ ti ń ṣe àwọn nǹkan tó jẹ́ pé tẹ́ bá ti ṣe tán àwòkọ́ṣe ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ wá jẹ́ fún àwọn ìjọba tó kù láyìíká wa àti ìjọba àpapọ̀. Mo fẹ́ kẹ́ ẹ gbé yẹ̀wò àwọn nǹkan wo ni ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ti gbé kalẹ̀ tí ó fún àwọn èèyàn nífọ̀kànbalẹ̀ wípé tọmọ wa bá lọ iléèwé kò ní kárùn yín wálé, tá a bá lọ sọ́jà, tá a bá lọ sílé.
Professor Láòpá múra ó ṣàlàyé ibì kan nísìnyí wípé ní Kenya or which country ni wọ́n sọ wípé odindi ọdún kan ni wọ́n waste. Fún àwọn ọ̀dọ́ a mọ nǹkan tí ọdún kan yẹn mean. Ọlọ́mọdé àrí ọmọ tí ò ní yege kálọ́mọ kan wà tó rọra ń repeat lọ́wọ́ tó expect pé ọdún yìí lòun ọ̀bọ̀ sí ìpele míì tọdún ìtún wa lọ́mọ lọ́wọ́ ṣẹ́mi ẹ̀pọ̀ ọdún méjì nìyẹn nínú ìgbésí ayé ẹ̀ for youths ọdún méjì yìí matter. Now àwa wò wípé ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ àní nǹkan méjì tá a fi ń ṣe akíkanjú ní ìta àti jogún láti ọ̀dọ̀ Chief Ọbáfẹ́mi Awólọ́wọ̀ ju ètò ẹ̀kọ́ lọ. It has been our only industry. Òun ni the only thing tá a fi péyege tó yẹ pé tá a máa ń béèrè báwo ni. Even nígbà tí wọ́n ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ gba independence lọ́wọ́ òyìnbó tẹ́ ẹ bá wà ní federal service tí wọ́n bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ tó bá sọ pé I'm from the west wọ́n ti mọ̀ pé superior thought ló dé yẹn. Ṣé education yìí láwàá jẹ́ ó bàjẹ́ kanlẹ̀? Ìjọba yìí nípa ọ̀rọ̀ ètò ẹ̀kọ́ wọ́n ti ṣe compendium kan tó jẹ́ pé ó jẹ́ bíi past question bíi ọdún 10 sẹ́yìn ọ̀fẹ́ ni wọ́n fún gbogbo àwọn ọmọ. Gbogbo iṣẹ́ tí wọ́n ṣe ìtorí ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ nínú gbogbo àwọn tó yèsì ìdánwò ń jáde àwọn èsì aláṣekọrí 27 ẹ̀kẹtàdínlọ́gbọ̀n nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ wà. A ti múra nípa wípé gbogbo ètò tí wọ́n ṣe sílẹ̀ yìí àti ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ tán fún àwọn ọmọ wa wípé nínú ọdún yìí ó tó máa jẹ́ bí ọdún àkọ́kọ́ tí wọ́n máa ṣe exam lẹ́yìn ìgbà tí ìjọba ìwà ń ta wọ́n láti bọ́ sí unit. Then we regain our glory as a pace setter nínú education nínú ètò ẹ̀kọ́ tó yẹ pé òní ibi náà láti kọ́kọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ ètò ẹ̀kọ́ lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́ ibi náà láti kọ́kọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ 1955 tí Chief Ọbáfẹ́mi Awólọ́wọ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ ìgbà tán rí tó ṣe successfully wọ 67 Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní East 57 to 59 ó collapse lọ́hùn. The ones of Ọ̀yọ́ continued and that was responsible for most Igbos to flock Lagos. So it's our only pride. Ṣùgbọ́n ká tó wá ṣe ètò eléyìí gẹ́gẹ́ bá a ṣe sọ àwọn akọ́ṣẹ́mọṣẹ́ ètò ẹ̀kọ́ àti àwọn akọ́ṣẹ́mọṣẹ́ ètò ìlera wọ́n jókòó káwọn ọmọ yẹn mọ́ lù sí àsìkò yìí kí ni tá a lè ṣe òótọ́ ìwú ń bẹ́ ń ta. Wọ́n kọ́kọ́ wá pe àwọn olùkọ́ wọn wọ́n fún wọn ní ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ lórí bí wọ́n ṣe lè ṣe. Now a gbọ́ pé kò ń ṣe gbogbo àwọn ọmọ ni wọ́n ní kán wọlé o. Àwọn tí wọ́n ní kán wọlé gan-an wọn ò ju bí 10% iléèwé kọ̀ọ̀kan lọ. Ìyẹn dẹ̀ ni àwọn tó ń ṣe iṣẹ́ tí wọ́n fẹ́ fi bọ́ sí ìpele míì. Àwọn ọmọ primary 6 táwọn náà dẹ̀ ni tí ó bọ̀ sí secondary. Àwọn ọmọ GSS 3 táwọn yẹn fẹ́ bọ́ sí senior school àti àwọn tó bẹ́ẹ̀ pé wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe school certificate tí mi ti ń wò pé àbí kóun ó ṣe jambu ní lẹ́yìn eléyìí àbí kóun ó lọ ṣe advanced level ní gbogbo ìrètí wọ̀nyẹn covid ó kó lọ ara new norm tí Professor Adéyẹmọ mention nìyẹn pé ǹjẹ́ yóò padà rí bákan náà but kọ́mọ yìí mọ́ àwọn ọmọ ọ̀dọ́ lọ́wọ́ tán pátápátá òun ni nǹkan tí alákòóso wa engineer Ṣèyí Mákindé àti àwọn ìgbìmọ̀ akọ́ṣẹ́mọṣẹ́ yìí tí wọ́n fẹ́ ṣiṣẹ́ lé lórí wọ́n wá sọ gbogbo ìlànà tí wọ́n lè tò ó dá o kíní ìfọwọ́ o káwọn ọmọ fọwọ́ kan ti ní ìta gbangba wọ́n lọ wo gbogbo schools wọ́n dẹ̀ rí bí wọ́n ṣe ń comply although gẹ́gẹ́ bá a ṣe mọ̀ pé aláìgbọràn pọ̀ ju ẹni tó ń gbọ́ràn lọ ní ilẹ̀ wa. Wọ́n dẹ̀ tún sọ pé òbí kọ̀ọ̀kan kó fi fún ọmọ rẹ̀ ní face mask. Kí ni ìdí èyí? Ẹ rí i pé táwọn òbí gan tí wọ́n bá ń lọ ọ̀dọ̀ Professor Adebayo jẹ́ ká mọ̀ pé level of compliance táwa náà dẹ̀ mọ̀ wípé ó poor. Bẹ̀ táwọn èèyàn bá fẹ́ lọ gbowó ní báńkì wọ́n mọ̀ pé wọ́n ó dì mọ́ títí tọ́lọ́run ó fi yọ̀ǹda owó fún wọn. So tán bá wá tún dé létán ẹnu ọ̀nà géètì báńkì wọn ti fa kinní yẹn bọ́ sí àgbọ̀n, which looks more convenient than the nose. In fact.
bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn bá fà ságbọ̀n kò ṣe nǹkan kan ẹni bá fà ságbọ̀n ò bo nǹkan kan àbí ò bo nǹkan kan wọ́n ti fọlọ́pàá mú àwọn èèyàn láwọn ìlú kan.
Yes, ó tọ́ ni
fọlọ́pàá mú èèyàn ní ilé.
In fact ṣe rí alákòóso wa gbogbo nǹkan tó bá jọ bí òfin tó lè bọ́dà lórí human rights àbí nǹkan kan wọ́n ń tètè fẹ́ ká ṣe.
èèyàn tí máa ń jẹ́ kí ẹlòmíràn ó wà ní ewu.
ibẹ̀ ni
ṣé kò yẹ ká mú irú èèyàn bẹ́ẹ̀ ká fi pamọ́ ni.
a tún yẹ̀wò ní COVID-19 task force torí tí a bá ń ṣe ọ̀rọ̀ ìgbésẹ̀ míì tó yẹ pé torí àwọn bàbá wa wọ́n ní eégún tó lé ní Ìbàdàn fẹ́ eégún tó bá jẹ́ ń tò ní lérò lẹ́yìn ẹ̀ tó bá jẹ́ pálápánṣápá àbí nǹkan kan téèyàn ń ná àtòrí tá ń ná everything ni pé Ọlọ́run ló mọ bí ẹ̀mí gbé lè pín ènìyàn ò mọ bí ẹ̀mí so èrò á pọ̀.
mo rò pé ìlú yẹn ẹni kí wọ́n tó lùlù yẹn fún mi lónìí. 0809-155-1055 0809-155-1055 0706-949-3000 0805-699-8678. These are the numbers you can call now. The topic is COVID-19, lessons on responsibility, partnerships, and navigating the new normal. Ani kayen lotu, emi o letu bo se tu, mo ń gbìyànjú. Tẹ́ bá ti pè wá, ẹ dá kọ yín, ẹ sọ bí tẹ́ ti ń pè wá. Kí bàbá wa kó wọn kú ọdún wọn lónìí, kẹ́ ti béèrè ìbéèrè yín tó jẹ mọ́ ntí à ń gbé yẹ̀wò lónìí. Tani ń bẹ lójú òpó yìí? Hello? Hello. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning. Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for calling. What's the name where you're calling from?
Àti bàbá wa Abese Olubadan ẹni wọ́n gùn Ọlọ́run ìbẹ̀rù pẹ́ fún wa. Èyí tí mo fẹ́ béèrè ni pé ṣé bí ó ṣe ń lọ yìí ṣé ọ̀nà àbáyọ wà tó jẹ́ pé gbogbo àwọn ọmọ yòókù àti wọlé pẹ̀lú àwọn ilé àbí bó ṣe ń lọ ìtò ń gbé òfin sí i tí táwọn ilé ìgbà ti parí tí wọ́n kò dá wọn padà sílé ni.
Thank you very much. Mo ko ti rí ìbéèrè yẹn mú. A dáhùn ìbéèrè yẹn. Tá bá tó lómi tó wà lójú òpó. If anybody is there, let me call the number again. Or someone is there already. Hello. Good morning. Okay, it's gone. 0809-155-1055, 0805-699-8678, and 0706-949-3000. Ẹ̀mọ̀kú ojúmọ́.
Alhaji Ayelabogo láti Lanlátẹ̀.
Alhaji Ayelabogo
láti Lanlátẹ̀. Wọ́n kú ọjọ́ bí òní o. Lágbára Ọlọ́run, àlàáfíà ara, ẹ̀mí gígùn tún máa lékún o.
Àmín o.
Àti gbogbo òṣìṣẹ́ Splash àti Lágẹ̀lú akíyín o. Ìbéèrè mi pín sóríṣi méjì o. Lásìkò ọ̀gìnìntìn láwà yìí, àwọn èèyàn máa ń húkọ́ ọ̀gìnìntìn wà àwọn èèyàn ikú máa ń jáde mú òtútù mọ́ àwọn èèyàn. Ẹ̀rù wá ń ba àwọn èèyàn pé táwọn mẹ́jọ sídù fún ọba pé nǹkan ká ti ṣẹlẹ̀ wọ́n má máa ń lẹ̀. Ṣèṣì yìí òtútù sì ti wá ti pẹ́ ọ̀gìnìntìn ti wá ti pẹ́. Kejì àwọn oògùn tí wọ́n lọ kó wá nílùú kejì Madagascar àtàwọn tí wọ́n ń ṣe ń bí ṣé wọn ò lè lò ní Alhaji Ayelabogo láti Lanlátẹ̀.
Ẹ ṣeun Alhaji Ayelabogo láti Lanlátẹ̀. Mo fẹ́ràn ìbéèrè wọn o. Ṣé àmọ́ pásíkò yìí èèyàn mọ̀ sí? Ṣé gbogbo ẹni tó bá ti sí lóní COVID ni àbẹ́ni wá ti wúkọ́ lóní COVID? Ẹ jẹ́ kí kọmíṣánná ò dá wa lóhùn kíákíá.
Ẹ ṣe pọ̀. Ẹ jẹ́ kí ká kọ́kọ́ mú láti bí ẹni tó ṣe ìbéèrè àkọ́kọ́ màá wá bọ́ sórí ọ̀rọ̀ ti Alhaji Ayelabogo ìbéèrè wọn. Now ṣe rí ìbá àwọn tí a ní kí wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ kí wọ́n wọlé yìí a rí i pé àwọn wà ní ìpele tó ṣe pàtàkì sí ìlọsíwájú wọn nínú ètò ẹ̀kọ́. So pẹ̀lú gbogbo ètò tá a fi sílẹ̀ a tún yìí study pé àbólè bẹ́yìn yọ ká mọ̀ di nǹkan àbámọ̀ àwa gan ti wà prepared but ní èní ní Wednesday àwọn alákòóso ètò ẹ̀kọ́ kan ti training tí wọ́n ti ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀ àwọn ti wà lẹ́nu ẹ̀ láti bí ọ̀sẹ̀ kan sẹ́yìn ṣùgbọ́n pẹ̀lú ìbá àwọn ọmọ tí wọ́n wà ní ìsìn àti social distancing pé kí wọ́n máa wà lọ́tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ kí wọ́n fi nǹkan bomú gbogbo yẹn ní ìjọ Monday gómìnà wa láti àtàárọ̀ di ọwọ́ àsìkò tí wọ́n ń close ló ń lọ sí school ọ̀tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ táwọn náà ń wo bí ètò yẹn ṣe ń lọ alákòóso ètò ẹ̀kọ́ àti àwọn ìsọ̀ǹgbè development àti ní different zones àwọn zonal inspector of education gbogbo ni wọ́n tún mójútó lọ́tọ̀ àwọn ọ̀gá EOC wa táǹkì ní emergency operation center tó jẹ́ pé àwọn náà ṣe ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ àti nǹkan kan yẹn àwọn náà tún lọ wọ́n tún yẹ̀ wọ́n wò so gbogbo kínní kò ń ṣe pé a fi ilẹ̀ ìpè kan bẹ̀rẹ̀ so tí a bá rí tí gbogbo ètò yìí bá lọ déédéé òótọ́ díẹ̀díẹ̀ lè wà sọ pé gbogbo ẹ̀ ní òsùmùtò ṣùgbọ́n ìjọba á tún jókòó àwọn alákòóso akọ́ṣẹ́mọṣẹ́ yẹn á tún jókòó pé ibo la bá dé kí ni percentage ẹ̀ torí ayé ń wo ṣẹ́rí ńgbà tí wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ àyẹ̀wò ní Ọ̀yọ́ state bá a bá wo gbogbo bí nọ́mbà wa ṣe lọ sókè àwọn tó positive ó kéré sí iye àwọn tá a yẹ̀wò àwọn tí ó yẹ̀yẹ̀ wò tó wá nọ́mbà àwọn tó positive wọn ju t'Ọ̀yọ́ state lọ tá a bá dẹ̀
lẹ́yìn tó mọ̀ sí.
ó ní àwọn data àti statistics tá à ń sọ.
pé àní COVID-19 púpọ̀ nílùú ilẹ̀ ń sọ yẹn.
irọ́ ṣe rí ṣẹ̀mọ̀ ipá ń yẹra wa wò á béèrè kíní kan tó ń pè ní community testing ní gbogbo different local government so àwọn tó ń rò pé òsì wọ́n rí i pé àwọn kọ̀ọ̀kan níyọ tí a wá wo iye àwọn tá a ti yẹ̀wò sí iye àwọn tó ní ó yìí kéré.
ṣe ní nọ́mbà àwọn tá a ti yẹ̀wò ni.
a ní nọ́mbà wọn.
ṣe lè fún wa.
ẹ ṣe gbogbo bẹ̀tẹ̀mọ̀ ilé interpreters.
you can do it in English. Do it in English.
gbogbo àwọn tá a ti confam tí ó jẹ́ pé wọ́n jẹ́ confirmed cases jẹ́ 1,530. ṣé ń gbọ́ àwọn tó wà active cases nínú wọn tá a mọ̀ pé bóyá wọ́n ní àpẹẹrẹ àrùn yìí lára àwọn yẹn jẹ́ bíi 700. èyí tí mò ń fún yín jẹ́ gẹ́gẹ́ bíi títí aago 10 alẹ́ àná torí kíní ìmọ̀ ṣẹ̀mọ̀ bá ṣe ń ṣe test lọ àti ìmọ̀ tí ó délé lónìí but títí di 7 alẹ́ àná ó ní ẹ̀ ń gbọ́ yìí àwọn tó ti recover tá a ti discharge wọ́n jẹ́ 811 àwọn tó kú jẹ́ 19 so tẹ́ bá wo 19 out of confirmed cases ẹ rí i pé we are still at 0.9 ìyẹn show level of containment and managerial skill, management skill.
I don't know whether I want to agree with the level of containment in your state. Prof.
Statistics ni kò ṣe é bá jiyàn.
Eléyìí ṣe é bá jiyàn, téèyàn bá wò ó. Prof.
As far as statistics are concerned, the Americans will say they are lies, they are damn lies, and then there are statistics. There is no doubt that there is some measure of active intervention in Oyo State that is helping with the containment. I think it would be unfair to suggest that there isn't some interaction or intervention that is causing some measure of containment. But the data is still quite soft. And the reason why the data is soft is that we do not have sufficient testing being done, even as much as we are doing more testing than others. So your state government has rarely supported that. They have 2 labs that backing them. But when you look at the population, we do not have the same degree of penetrance as they have in Lagos. And it's also important to note that we do not have correct diagnoses for all of those who have illnesses of other kinds. So what does that mean? Are we recording all COVID-19 cases in Oyo State? That's why I said the data is quite soft. That is different from the ones we have seen, only 19 have died. If we have
real data,
it's difficult to say. And that's why Lagos State looks a little bit worse than everywhere, because they're doing a lot more. So we need to be careful about how we interpret the data. And I'll just give an example just to make sure that you don't think I'm blaming the Oyo State government. For the in the UK for a long time, they were only recording the COVID-19 cases that were in hospital. They were not looking at the COVID-19 cases and or deaths in elderly care homes. And that meant that they did not record 25% of the cases and deaths. So if we do not have that kind of robust data, we can only deal with the soft data we have. So it's reassuring, but it's not yet
As a medical doctor, we are moving to the wet season, like somebody asked. We didn't deal with that question, but I wanted to deal with that question for me very briefly. Would there be mistakes to say somebody sneezing and then...
This is not the time to sneeze.
So if I want to sneeze, I should just swallow it.
I suggest you swallow your sneeze.
Reflex action. There's
absolutely no doubt that if you sneeze now, people will not answer with bless you. They will go in another direction. So you will maintain social distance. Yes, as the Yorubas will say, Allah lojuti okuriti kuliana.
You do go.
The guy would have died anyway, but for God's sake, would you have left your in-laws' house? Don't sneeze near anybody right now.
All right, thank you for those comments. We need to move a bit quickly into something else. If you're still calling, maybe I won't be able to take those calls now.
Maybe we have not addressed Alhaji Ayelabugun's question on local medications.
Okay, all right. Okay, so very quickly.
Because you say, you remember sometimes that Madagascar claimed there are some things, the WHO and some other things were making some reels about it. Here, the COVID-19 task force is also supporting a research work, by our natural herbalists, along with the Department of Botany of the University College, University of Ibadan, with the hope that they will come out with some testings that will be able to withstand, the test of time. tó yẹ pé tíjọba wa bá ń sọ wípé àti lóògùn tá a gbé kalẹ̀ o kò ń ṣe tẹ́nìkan á mọ sọ fún wa pé ṣe ti lórí ṣe ti ṣe báyìí ṣe ti ṣe báyìí.
ìyẹn ń lọ lọ́wọ́ báyìí.
ìyẹn ń lọ lọ́wọ́.
ẹja àfilẹ̀ síbẹ̀. Thank you very much. Yes, Prof.
Just very briefly, Professor Adebayo mentioned a point that I think may have been missed in her lecture or may not have been focused on. We need local funding for our research and our partnerships. For as long as we are going abroad to get money, he who pays the piper dictates the tune. And so it is important that we get local funding into our efforts, be them on the research side, on the health side, on the innovative side, so we own the intellectual data that comes from those research programs. For as long as it is the United States or Switzerland or somewhere, then they'll take the data and go away. So she mentioned it, but I think it may have been, as we say, lost in transition. It's important that we get our philanthropists, our benefactors to support research.
So let me come back to Professor Adebayo to give her final take, maybe tie it to what he said and give your final take quickly.
It's okay. Thank you very much. I think one thing I need to quickly say before I give my final take is that I don't want people to go away with the fact that if you are sneezing, you shouldn't seek intervention. There are laid down protocols by WHO, and I'm very sure with the EOC are following. There are numbers to call in, and by the time they clock you, they go through your symptoms. Most of the time, it's doctors at the end of the call. They are able to actually know if you need to do further tests to be sure that it's not ordinary cold or it's COVID-19. So people should not be afraid to seek help if they have the regular common cold. Having said that, I think one of the things that I'll close with is that we are all leaders, and we should be responsible and responsive. We don't want to be statistics. It's left to us if we want to be statistics or we want to be alive to tell the story after COVID-19. Because like one of the lessons I read out, this also shall pass. And we will get to a time when there will be a vaccine, when there will be a cure for this. Do you want to still be alive at that time? And that should guide how you behave when you go out, how responsible you should be, and how you should take responsibility for those under your watch, meaning your wards, your children. You are the one responsible, ultimately. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Bashir Bello, your final take, just in 1 minute.
Yes. My take is probably the slogan of the Oyo State EOC, that is the Emergency Operations Center. And that coincides with what Professor Adebayo has actually mentioned, that own your own action. By not being responsible and responsive, you are actually creating a sore, in the wound of this nation. So we want everybody to know that self-protection is number one protection, and that they should not wait for the government to come and probably clean their environments or their something. Everybody should live up. Action. Yes. Live and hold your action.
Yes, first of all, let me thank Professor Adebayo for making that point about sneezing. We were talking a different time, but indeed it is true, not just for sneezing, but for all other ailments, that people should visit the necessary health practitioners to get tested. However, it is also important that we note that COVID-19 is only one of several diseases that is afflicting us, and whilst we must deal with the problem as it is now, we must not forget all the other illnesses as well that are causing diseases, that are causing death. When you die, you die. Whether it is COVID-19 or hypertension or diabetes is irrelevant. So we should not neglect all the other diseases, and we should ensure that we visit or contact health practitioners, and the health practitioners should also not take every disease as COVID-19, even as they must protect themselves. And I must shout out to governments to realize that the healthcare professionals require added protection at this time. They are more at risk, and there are not very many of them per population, so we can't afford to lose any member of the population, but certainly we can't afford to lose healthcare professionals at a higher rate than we are now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'd like to thank Professor Olubadan, Provost College of Medicine, University of Ibadan, member of the panel this day. Thank you for coming. I'd like to thank Dr. Bashir Bello, Oyo State Commissioner for Health, as a member of the panel as well, and also our guest lecturer, Professor Olanike Adebayo. Thank you, ma'am, for being here. Very quickly, I'm moving to the birthday component of this celebration, and I still want you to maintain your seats. Don't go. We'll take a little break. When we come back, I'll be welcoming a few people who will be doing some goodwill messages. The Zonal Director, Ibadan Zonal Office of the NBC, is here. I'd like to welcome and thank him for joining us on the program today. Mr. Raphael Apan, thank you for being here. We appreciate you. I'm taking a break right now. When I come back, we'll celebrate a little bit more. Stay with us.
When I wake up in the morning, I need something to help me start my day. Start my day. Pick 4, 5, 6 has DHA. It helps my brain to grow. It helps me to be smart. Oh, my own milk, oh, Pick 4, 5, 6, yeah. My own milk, oh, Pick 4, 5, 6, yeah. My own milk, oh, Pick 4, 5, 6, yeah. My own milk, oh, Pick 4, 5, 6, yeah.
Monkeys, panties and smoky. It really feels very comfy. I don't have to stop playing. Monkeys fits me perfectly.
Àròṣe láti Monfix fún ìkókó rẹ. Ìlédìí Monfix tá a ṣe pẹ̀lú ìmọ̀ ẹ̀rọ tó mú kó ṣe rẹ́gí lára. Ìlédìí Monfix tuntun. Àròṣe láti ọwọ́ àwọn ìkókó fún àwọn ìkókó. Ó
rọrùn láti wọ̀, ó rọrùn láti bọ́.
Shop Paddy, abeg help me deposit this money.
Shop Paddy, abeg you fit loan me 5k.
Shop Paddy, you don't help me transfer that money.
Shop Paddy, I never do BVN. You fit help me.
Oga John, why everybody they call you Shop Paddy, Shop Paddy?
My friend, so you never hear of Shop Paddy from Polaris Bank?
Yes, with Shop Paddy from Polaris Bank, you can now make deposits, withdrawals, transfers, or even borrow money next door. Just visit any Shop Paddy agent near you. Want to be a Shop Paddy agent? Visit any Polaris Bank to register. Shop Paddy from Polaris Bank. Money solutions next to you.
From Polaris Bank.
MTN What Can We Do Together project is back! In the last 4 years and counting, 510 communities have benefited from different projects. Beyond this, smiles have been shared, lives have been impacted, and communities have been transformed. The journey isn't over. To be part of this year's project, nominate a community you know that needs either solar-powered boreholes or ICT lab for public secondary schools. To nominate a community, text MTN to 321 from your MTN line for free, or visit www.mtnonline.com/what can we do together and provide the requested information. Nominations close July 31, 2020. Together, we can make it happen. Turn it up.
Babe, Grain Smart. Is it a flavor?
No, it's a special mix of vitamins and iron in Golden Morn.
But I thought Golden Morn was made from maize and soya.
Yes, Niger maize and soya protein fortified with Grain Smart, which means the right energy to think and do great things.
Oh! Treat your family to the great taste and energy of Golden Morn. Eat up and carry go, because nothing do you. Golden Morn, make every day amazing.
Your favorite sport is back on DSTV. The Premier League, La Liga, Serie A, starring Salah, Messi, and CR7. The very best players from the very best leagues in the world. Get a HD decoder, dish, and 1 month contract subscription for only 17,675 naira.
Looking for a place to rent concrete mixing machines at an extremely affordable price, whether on a small or large scale? Bidel Constructions is Ibadan's concrete mixing outlet with over 500 mixing machines up for grabs and available to you. Now listen to this. Not only can you rent the machines for affordable prices, but you can also earn money by recommending the machines to other people to rent from us. So for every machine we rent out through you, you get 1,000 naira. This means you can earn as high as you recommend. So get smart and make money. Head over to Bidel Constructions right now, located at High Court Road, Ring Road, Ibadan, or call us on our hotline 0818-070-2938. Bidel Constructions is financially capable to handle big budget projects. Bidel Constructions. We commit, we deliver.
Every single morning, I wake up feeling ginger. No time for darling, so I stay woke like a dreamer. Let them say whatever, but I still there on the matter. And I promise to never stop till I get to the top of the ladder.
Introducing the new Peak Yogurt, the exciting drink that gives you tasty nourishment in every sip for you to be you, do you, and go for you. Peak Yogurt comes in orange, strawberry, and plain sweetened flavor, all available in nearby stores.
Go for you, go for you. You go reach your peak. Go for you, go for you. Must go reach my peak.
Reach for your peak.
Splash FM 105.5.
Chief Dr. Adebayo Akande.
Yes, Chief Dr. Adebayo Akande, thank you for that call out. I'll give the zonal director, Ibadan zonal office, under which we have Ogun, Osun, and Oyo, to just tell us a bit of felicitation to our chairman in just 30 seconds because of my time. Mr. Raphael Akpan, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much, and good morning, everyone. I think we're still within the time. Indeed, I'm very happy to be part of this of this family, celebrating our daddy, Chief Adebayo Akande, MFR, the Abese Olubadan of Ibadan on his 81st birthday. It's indeed worth celebrating. In the broadcast space, Splash FM came up as the very first private station in Oyo State, and that is what we recognize so well. And today, Splash FM is doing so well. We have gave birth to Lagelu FM, we have Splash Abeokuta. This is what we want, and we give credit to our daddy, and we pray that God Almighty will grant him sound health. God will be with him. Amen. And God will also keep the family of West Midland Communications Limited. I so much appreciate this, and I say congratulations, everyone.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay, nígbà yìí tí mo fẹ́ ṣe kíákíá ṣe mọ̀ pé pápá ni wọ́n ra ìrèké ní pápá kéèyàn má bàa kó sí ẹnu àwọn ọlọ́pàá. Ẹ̀yìn àbọ̀rọ̀ Táyọ̀ ń bẹ ní ó fẹ́ sùn jálá jẹ́ kí ni wọ́n mọ̀ ro pọnlápọnlá kí n tiẹ̀ gbọ́ díẹ̀. Ó tó bá wọn. Táyọ̀ bò ní.
Orin là kọ́ dá o, bá a bá fẹ́ ṣeré jàlá orin là kọ́kọ́ dá, bá a bá dání náà tán kélégbé ó sì gbèrè kó wá jọra wọn. Ẹ máa fi sọ̀rọ̀ ẹnu alárí ọdẹ. Tèmítáyọ̀ òye ládùn mo dé bí mo ti dé o, gbàngbàngbàn ní kọlọ́rọ̀ máa jíkẹ́ mo dé bí mo ti dé. Ọ̀rọ̀ tí ń bẹ ní àyín ọkàn kò sẹ́nìkan jẹ nìkan lọ, ọ̀rọ̀ tó bá kò jó ìní ọkà ìnáyè tó bá kò níbodè yọ kàrà oko wàràǹwèrè ní ọkọ̀ mọ̀ sùkú, ọ̀rọ̀ tó bá kò rógùn yọ kàn gbàkọ, ọ̀rọ̀ òní kan ládùúgbò ẹni kọ́ mọ́ kan ni. Ẹ máa fi sọ̀rọ̀ ẹnu alárí ọdẹ. Tèmítáyọ̀ òye ládùn ọ̀rọ̀ òní kan olórí iléeṣẹ́ kọ́ mọ́ kan gbogbo òṣìṣẹ́ gbàngbàngbàn ńlẹ̀ yìí tọkàn mí ọkàn ṣe wọn lágbàngbàngbàn ọkàn Túndé ọmọ Ọláwúwo ọkàn gbogbo òṣìṣẹ́ ìkànnì Lágẹ̀lú FM ọkàn gbogbo òṣìṣẹ́ ìkànnì Splash FM nìbàdàn àti lábẹ́òkúta. Ẹ máa fi sọ̀rọ̀ ẹnu alárí ọdẹ. Akande ń sọjọ́ bí o kàpẹ́ láyé ká bá wọn yọ. Akande sọjọ́ bí o ká bá wọn yọ. Báyọ̀ Akande ń sọjọ́ bí o kàpẹ́ láyé ká bá wọn yọ. Báyọ̀ Akande ń sọjọ́ bí o kàpẹ́ láyé ká bá wọn yọ. Báyọ̀ Akande sọjọ́ bí o kẹ̀pẹ́ láyé ká bá wọn yọ. Báyọ̀ Akande sọjọ́ bí o kẹ̀pẹ́ láyé ká bá wọn yọ. Onílù yìí ṣe sùúrù ọwọ́ ló fi ń wí ẹnu mo fi ń wí tèmi lókèlókè kéèló méjì lẹ́ẹ̀kan oṣù kí ni òun ṣaládùn ara mi gidi gan nítorí bàbá mi Múrítàlá Adébáyọ̀. Ẹ má fi sọ̀rọ̀ ẹnu alárí ọdẹ àmọ́ òpó nìyí òpó múlẹ́rìn yín bàbá mi gbogbo ẹ̀ pátápátá ńlọ́kùkù yé mi. Bó bá dàmọ́dún ká ríra wa ọdọọdún làárọ̀ mọ̀ òbí. Bó bá dàmọ́dún ká ríra wa ọdọọdún làárọ̀ mọ̀ òbí. Bó bá dàmọ́dún ká ríra wa ọdọọdún làárọ̀ mọ̀ òbí. Tó bá dàmọ́dún ká ríra wa ọdọọdún làárọ̀ mọ̀. Bó bá dàmọ́dún ká ríra wa ọdọọdún làárọ̀ mọ̀. Bó bá dàmọ́dún ká ríra wa ọdọọdún làárọ̀ mọ̀ òbí o.
Bá gba kíní ọ̀gẹ̀dẹ̀ yìí lọ́wọ́ Táyọ̀ kò tó wò ó dákẹ́ lónìí. Ẹ bá ń pàtẹ́wọ́ fún Táyọ̀ ẹ̀dá kùn gbọ́ àtàwọn ànulẹ̀ ẹ̀já pàtẹ́wọ́ fún Táyọ̀. Táyọ̀ yìí ládùn. Òṣèlú mo dúpẹ́ o, thank you so much. N tó fi mọ́yàn mi jẹ náà lélẹ́yìí ń gbà lọ́wọ́ rẹ lọ́jọ́ kan. All right, thank you so much and his team. We'd like to acknowledge some people as we round off this time. We would like to acknowledge our mommy, Chief Mrs. Onikepo Akande, OONCON. She is still available here, but because of this COVID-19 restrictions and protocols, she couldn't be here. Mommy, we acknowledge you. Thank you very much. We'd like to thank our MD and CEO, Mrs. Atinuke Akande. Atinuke Adetunji, he wrote that. Mrs. Atinuke Adetunji. Thank you very much, ma'am, for that. Mrs. Olato Akande, thank you also for being here. Bolanle Akande, Bayo Akande Jr., Alhaji Akande, Chairman's Elder, Alhaja Akande, Chairman's Elder Sister, Group Captain BC Ojebola, Chief Wahab Pupola, the Afobaje of Ibadanland, and other family members. We thank you all for being here. We also thank all our staff and members of staff who are also here. I would like to thank Michael Latuboson for assisting. Thank our General Manager, Tunde Olawu, and also want to thank Oga Safu. Thank you very much for all your help and all that you have helped us today, boss. Thank you so much. Desmond Adebayo, thank you. I thank the team at the social media. Thank all those at the engineering. Thank everyone, the accounts, and all those who have helped to make this a success. Yes, Ma Radio, we thank you for being here with us, and we appreciate you for the partnership. And all of you who have listened to us today, we thank everyone for what you have done. I wish we could do 81 Bosa for Baba, but that's not possible right here. But thank you, everyone. Congratulations to all of us right here at West Midlands Communications. My name is Oluwaseun Akinola. Atodumodun, atodumodun ni wọ́n pè ní awo atodumodun, aṣoromoro ni wọ́n pè ní awo aṣoromoro. Mo ṣe tán tèmi ń lọ báyìí, lọ́dún tí ń bọ̀ gbogbo wa la pàdé o, ẹnìkankan ni wa ò ní di òkú. Àmì àṣẹ ń tẹ̀dùmarè. Bye, fare thee well.
Ilẹ̀ Ìbàdàn pátá. Ẹ̀rù ọjọ́ ìbí o. Ẹ̀mí rẹ̀ á ṣe púpọ̀ nínú owó, nínú ọlá, pẹ̀lú àlàáfíà ara. Aráyé o, wọ́n bá yín jó. Aráyé o, wọ́n bá yín yọ̀. Aráyé o, wọ́n bá yín jó. Aráyé o, wọ́n bá yín yọ̀. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọdún tí ẹ ti